Hello, hello. It is I, me, her, she, the Sonia Estelle, the Word Witch, here with the monthly read for the month of October. This comes first to the homies on Patreon who are paying between $1 and $10 a month or more to get exclusive access, early access to the monthly read every month. I release it the month after the month that it's valid for to YouTube. So if you're seeing it on YouTube, that's why you're seeing it. Typically, you'll see September's and October's and November's, etc., etc. But if you want to catch it at the beginning of the month, if that's when you like to clock in on your tarot scopes or tarology or any of the tarot forecasts that you like to enjoy, then join my Patreon for as little as $1 and you will get the monthly read once a month early. Now we have two decks that step forward for our read this month, and they are Manzel's Tarot 2 and Dust Onyx Tarot. So let's get into this. I'm going to shuffle, so excuse me while I put this here on your collar. Okay. So we begin. Oh, these cards are a little stuck together. Let me give them a little love. I've been out of the home, been traveling, so the cards haven't gotten all the TLC they could have. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that's that. And from Manzel Bowman's Tarot, we have and one of these felt a little leaning. Let's see. Okay. Now, I'm just going to sort them. They're not turned over yet. All right. Now, I've been seeing on the social medias that people kind of hold their shit over here. And since I'm speaking a little low because it's the witching hour in my home because I got home late and I'm leaving early, and I wanted to make sure I got this out to you before I head out of the country yet again. So I hope this sounds good. And if it's not, it's in the ASMR category of life, then I will raise my temper a little bit so that it's not so low. Okay, so let's begin. We have the typical spread for these days, which is the Speak, Listen, and Key spread. Speak is our first column of 2 cards, which are coming from Dust Onyx Tarot. Listen is our second column of 2 cards, which are coming from Dust Onyx Tarot. And then our key cards come from Manzel Bowman's Tarot. So the Speak columns, short and fast description is what there is to know. And the Listen column's short and fast description is what there is to do. Let's see what October is bringing. I mean, other than what we're already seeing. We start with Lil Gourd, the Page of Cups. I think of Lil Gourd, the Page of Cups. All pages are of service, right? All pages are messengers. All pages are doing some sort of work that requires sacrifice. And that sacrifice is typically that you're doing it on the behalf of others, of the community, meaning that it's not like all about you and what you want to say, what you want to communicate, what you want to do, what you want to represent. Excuse me. But that it is your calling to be of service in this way. And to me, every page is of service, and the most mature pages understand that being of service doesn't mean sacrificing their own interests. It means sort of pacing and timing and planning and plotting their interests in the midst of service. So that means, doing your work and then out of town like I just did, and then making sure you see your friends as possible around the work, right? But of all the pages, to me, Lil Gourd is the one that is the most like needing to know where their emotional satisfaction comes from. I mean, it is cups, right? It's gourds, but also because the kind of pleasures that the page of gourds the Page of Cups Little Gourd is looking for are ones that are soothing to the other intelligences: physical intelligence, intellectual intelligence, spiritual intelligence. So the emotional understanding, one of my teachers says, one of my teachers named Bashar says, you can't have a feeling without a belief, right? Which, obviously you're thinking, if someone stabs me in the hand with a fork, I don't have to believe that's going to hurt for it to hurt me. No, we're not talking about it that way. We're talking more like you can't foster a feeling in yourself without it being attached to a belief. It's not something that is like reactive or reflexive or responsive. It's something that's more along the lines of like, because I have an understanding of things in this way, I have these feelings that go along with that understanding and those beliefs. So it's important for Little Gourd to know what really is soothing to the intellect, to the body, and to the spirit. Whatever is soothing to all those things that the emotional intelligence is actually looking out for is usually something of the highest order. Okay. If it's just satisfying one of the intelligences and, it's at the sacrifice of emotional intelligence's peace, then we can say that that's not of the highest order for you, which doesn't mean that you can't fuck around and find out, but it just means like consistently speaking, it's not something you want to foster in yourself. So Little Gourd fosters an emotional intelligence that includes the recognition of their intellect, their body, and their spirit. And this is because they have a belief that they can have equilibrium and they can have balance and they can have what they need to do and also what they desire to do. And that those things can be, synonymous or the same or very compatible at the very least. So that's what there is to know this month. We're going into a month where, regardless of what service you are of, and that doesn't mean you have to be a messenger, okay? We're just talking about like, no matter what work you're doing on behalf of not just yourself, community, others, family, friends, colleagues, whatever work you're doing on behalf of others this month should not be at the expense of what you need to create equilibrium within yourself on a day-to-day basis, right? Because the whole reason that each page goes about the delivery of the message with their own zhuzh or energy is because sometimes the messenger gets shot. Sometimes the person who delivers the message is cut from the team, is used as the scapegoat, doesn't survive the message, and so you must live in the midst of service because there's no guarantees that the service is going to keep you alive, let alone the environment, meaning like the state of affairs, society, things like that. Our second card on what there is to know under Little Gourd is the Three of Gourds. The Three of Gourds, I've had this deck for like probably 7 years, so it has been shuffled. These two just wanted to come out. Gourds, cups up. We are moving into water sign season, and not to skip over you, Libra, but we are going to get to Scorpio, okay? And we know they be deep in their cups, deep in their feelings, deep in the depths. So with the Three of Cups, there's some celebratory nature here. There is jubilation. There is coming together in the reverence or the ecstaticness, ecstasy of something, and also there's knowing your community that helps you understand your emotional intelligence and allows you to become more creatively and emotionally comprehensive, more connected on a one-to-one basis, right? Because if I, as Little Gourd, am doing the things that I know that are most soothing to me, and I'm choosing those activities regardless of whether people come with me or not, I'm always going to be meeting people along the way who are doing those things with me, because they themselves are out there for their own reasons. And to me, that's the Three of Gourds. Three of Gourds is very much, especially when we're having like aligned things, and we'll see what the listen column has to say, but the Three of Gourds is very much like, okay, well, we are communal in this. We revel we revel in this, we celebrate this, we rejoice in this, and so we will do that together. And in doing that together, we will create like an occasion of recognition and celebration for our achievements and for our successes. And you know, counting the little successes is very important, because it's going to look like there's a lot of rapid, I mean, it already looks like this, right? There's plenty of rapid decay happening, and that maybe presents as more dramatic because things falling apart is more maybe distinguishable than things coming together, and more quick and obvious, right? Like the tower coming down takes a lot less time than the tower being built. And so counting the little blessings and enjoying the little things is what bridges the gaps of the big things, right? It's creating the little stepping stones between bank to bank of the river, and the little things are the stepping stones. And so it's important to give yourself enough little things to create enough stepping stones to cross, to ford the streams and cross the rivers that are that you have to, you know, the rivers and the lakes that you have to, not necessarily that you're used to, but you might be used to it too. And then something I also will share, I was at the Bashar Sedona transmission this past September, volunteering, and a gentleman asked a question. An Indian gentleman asked a question about, okay, he's like, I come from a culture with like polytheism and a lot of gods, and I'm curious about like what impetus there is in the universe for like doing good or doing bad. And Bashar explained a few couple of things, and the guy said, well, it doesn't seem like there's any like incentive to be good. And Bashar's like, of course there's incentive to be good. First of all, he's like, well, there's a way it makes you feel, right? Just like doing things that make you feel good makes you feel good, right? Assuming those things are good for your emotional, physical, intellectual, and spiritual intelligence, right? Because then it's going to be comprehensive, it's going to be cohesive, it's going to have equilibrium. But something he also said is like, look, you know, like existence, let's say nature, existence isn't good or bad. He's like, existence is like a river. And, you know, what we could qualify as good choices are the ones that help you float downstream, easily going your way, very little obstruction, right? He's like, neutral decisions are the ones that may get you from the shore to from one shore to the other, or that have you drifting down the river, but then you decide you're going to cut to a line and you're going to go across. And he's like, and negative decisions, or bad decisions as they're called, are people who wanted to swim upstream all the time. He's like, so what is the advantage existentially, universally, of doing good? It's fucking easier. It's easier on your body. It's easier than swimming upstream 99.99% of the time. And it requires less energy, vigor, survival, competition, right? So it's like, in allowing yourself to drift down the river, aka do good works for yourself, you are making it so that you are more of an asset in that setting to those who insist on swimming upriver, or those who only know how to cut across, right? Not everyone knows how to float. Not everyone trusts the river to guide them. Not everyone has actually run the course of the river and has some sense of where it goes. Not everyone trusts that they remember where it goes. Not everyone trusts that they can know where it goes. Some people don't even want to be in the river. They just want to be on the shore. So if we think about doing good works and doing bad works as going against the stream and tide of things, or going with the stream of tide of things. And by that, I don't mean what the popular culture is doing, because again, the river is existence itself. It's not just the existence you're paying attention to. It's like the entire shebang, the whole nature of the experience. So those of us who are floating at certain points where other people are swimming upstream can be of service. And those are us who are swimming upstream when other people are floating, they can be of service. And those who are on the shore can say, hey, there's a waterfall coming, or there's a rock coming, or there's a crocodile coming, or there's mad bodies coming down. You know, we can all be of service from our positioning in the flow of things. And if we allow everyone to be an example of what can be done and give ourselves the trust and the opportunity to act in the ways that we feel we need to act, then we can see if the ways that we act actually bear the results that we believe they should bear. And if they don't bear those results, then we can change the way that we act and see if those changes bear the results that we want But the results that you want have to first and okay, let's say have better than should. The results that you want have to be relevant to you first, not to how everyone responds to you. Like there has to be a there for a response to there, for a response of there to happen. So, embodiment is the point. Now, what is there to listen to? What is there to do? It doesn't want to change. Turning it over now. Mama Staff reversed. Because I'm reading reverse now. Mama Staff reversed. The Queen of Wands reversed. I get it actually, because of all the queens of Wands is the go-between, the bridge builder, the one who has many communities, the one who interfaces with many communities. Wands is our suit of fire. It's our suit of aspirations and personal development, but it's our suit of the individual in relationship to the group. So the Queen of Wands is the person being very extensive or multifaceted or multicultural or traveled or multidimensional. And for that to be reversed, it's like the skill of the staffs is from their experience with many kinds of people. The challenge of staffs is the difference between embodiment and performance, right? If I'm performing, I'm looking for a response. If I'm embodying, that is my response. So Mama Staff is someone who's like, am I going to be in my role? Am I going to be in my role of interfacing and of communal work? And if you've got a reading from me before, if you've been here before, I like to say, if we're building a house, the Queen of Swords is the architect. The Queen of Wands, aka Mama Staff, is the contractor. The Queen of Pentacles is construction. And the Queen of Cups is the interior designer, right? And if we are throwing a party, the Queen of Swords gathers the other queens to create the invite list. The Queen of Wands sends out the invite lists and is the bouncer at the door, making sure only the right people get in. The Queen of Pentacles is in the kitchen, making sure everyone is fed and libated to their needs. And the Queen of Cups is the host with the most. So Wands' job is to know the group and the role that the group is supposed to fulfill. Wands are supposed to help the group fulfill the group's purpose. And so if there's no contractor, then the architect isn't speaking to construction, isn't speaking to the interior designer. The calendar's a mess. There's not a budget and a game plan that accounts for everybody involved. And if there's not, someone to send out the invitations and to make sure that the people who are invited are actually who attend, then there's no one to hold the container of the jubilation and the celebration. Someone needs to hold the container for good news. And good news isn't just something that happens in the absence of bad news. Good news is something that's happening at all times, depending on how you choose to perceive it. So Mama Staff is something that's like, how can I be more in my purpose by being more interfaced into the communities and groups that I'm involved with, or that I prefer to be involved with if I'm not involved with the ones that I prefer to be involved with. Let's see here. The last What There Is to Do card that does not want to change is Ten of Staffs reversed. Now this is interesting to me because, well, tens are of completion, right? So we know we're getting up there in our experience. We might have also had it up to here. 10 it's reversed. So sometimes 10's like this. But typically when the 10 isn't reversed, it's like you're putting everything on your own back, and it's a struggle. And the struggle can just be that it's lonely, or the struggle can be that it's hard and it's lonely, or the struggle can be that it's hard and it's lonely, and we feel like, existence doesn't support us because it's hard and it's lonely. But when the 10 of staffs is reversed, it's like you're disseminating them staffs. You're giving each person a staff, or, you're giving Andre the Giant 3 staffs, and you're giving, I don't know, some small person. I was going to say some small thing, from like a character from a show, Puss in Boots. Okay. You're giving Puss in Boots 1 staff. Okay. You're giving Andre the Giant 3 staffs. Obviously, Andre the Giant is a real person. But Andre the Giant was the character of the person named Andre. So the 10 of staffs here after the Queen of Staffs being reversed is like, it takes a village. Not sorry, it does. Nobody is self-made. No one comes from nothing. No one birthed themselves, breastfed themselves, and raised themselves. And so it takes a village, it takes a species, it takes a society, it takes a generation, it takes a people, it takes a culture, it takes a time. And, excuse me, and not only that, but like, once you know that it isn't just your work to do, meaning like, you already know with Lil Gourd, you're taking the time apart from service, but Wands is about the service, right? Because it's about a relationship to the group and the group of our species, other human beings. Cups is like one-on-one, me and a past version of myself, me and my partner, me and my boss, me and my sibling, right? But Wands is like me and my family, me and my profession, me and my fellow citizens, me and my demographic. And so when I see these two reversed in relationship to those water ones, it's like the work isn't singular, and it's not monolithic, and it's not monotheistic. And I looked up monotheism, because, I do. And the etymology of monotheism, the theism part is pretty much the interesting part. It's the belief specifically in a god, gods, or essentially like a power on high. It might have even said like religion, but I don't think it says religion. It's like a belief that is specifically in a god or gods, or a hierarchy of basically like spiritual power. And so people who are monotheistic are like, if I don't adhere to this belief, I'm fucked. And for such a multi-dimensional, multifaceted, multicultural, multi-gendered, multi-abled, multi-aged, multi-sized, multi-pigmented, okay, species, the idea that there's going to be one thing to adhere to fix everyone, or to make sure all the bad things go away and only the good things stay, it's comical. It's very simplistic, and it's very tunnel vision, right? So I think with wands, that is something that you have to be aware of, like the tunnel vision, thinking, if I just do this thing, everything will fall in place, knowing that wands is about embodiment and not performance. Meaning, like, what are you waiting for outside of your own state of being, your own sense of self, as that is an indicator to you of being right? Is it that everyone obeys you? Is it everyone thinks you're the shit? Is it that everyone claps for you? Is it everyone thinks you're the most beautiful person on earth? Is it everyone think that you're the coolest person who's ever existed? Is that everybody thinks you can never do wrong? Because that's performance. Even worrying about people on that level is performing. because embodiment is about what you do with yourself and how you allow that to naturally navigate you towards those who are already doing those things so you can be in community with those who are already aligned with you. Last but not least, because I only have a few minutes here on my fancy recording, our master key from Manzel Bowman's tarot is the 10 of Pentacles. So there's abundance in community, there's abundance in funds, there's abundance in resources. We're not using the abundance necessarily resourcefully, but it doesn't mean that it's not here to be utilized. And something about the earth is it's so regenerative and so like vast in its ability to hold space for things that even the things that we are wasting now will be of service in a different way later. And what that may look like is not one person's job, right? Because Pentacles is also our relationship with the land, the environment, our physical body, yeah, but like our habitat, reaping what we sow, finances, foundation, and our ancestors, because they're in the dirt, the water, the fire, the air, and we're made out of them, right? They haven't gone anywhere. They're literally still on the earth. We are walking around as them. And our skin will also return to the earth, and our bones and our bodies, and we will be a part of whatever comes next in the great orchestration of panspermia and time and space. Last but not least, that's our master key, right? It unlocks all the doors. Don't do it alone. Find the community, find the habitat, and the resources will be there. And once you find the right people, which we've already talked about at length, both in cups and in staff, then of course the resources and the ability and the abundance and the sense of like world building becomes more and more evident. We don't need to change our keystone. It's holding up the whole building, and our keystone is look to the stars, my friends. Also, like the dreams, the big wishes, the wish fulfillment, the ability to ascend in our estimations and our talents and our skills and our character and our personhood and our abilities. The star ending on a major arcana as the keystone, it's like we can't forget our place in the stars. We can't forget that Earth is a part of this vast infinite network of solar systems and galaxies and universes and existence itself, and that we are not alone in this infinite expanse. We are not alone in this infinite expanse. There are multitudes of things with us in reality, and the more that we are willing to acknowledge the multitudes, the more that we will recognize what kind of heights we can all rise to without anyone feeling outshone or compromised, right? Comparison is a joy killer, and joy is a star. And a star is something to aspire to. It's something to look upon. It's something to guide, right? Knowing what the stars are is having a map that gives you a sense of destination. It's a compass. It gives you a sense of direction. So never drop your sense of purpose in the midst of anything. It's always love and purpose and freedom in the time of cholera, in the time of enslavement, in the time of genocide, in the time of colonization, in the time of illness, in the time of war, in the time of oppression. We don't stop aspiring to be the best versions of ourselves by leading through example. Okay, again, embodiment, self-satisfaction, self-soothing, and then leading by example, attracting the natural community of people that will do that with us. And that's the reading for October. So ideally, you understand that. And I'm going to end it now because my video is about to end. Thank you for being here with me, Sonia Stell, the Word Witch. I can't really wink, but that was